Hey everybody, this is Matt Shoup with NOCO Jiu Jitsu, and I'm here today joined by
Nash Martin.
Nash. What's happening, man? How are you doing?
Doing good. Doing real good. All
We-
things considered.
We're quarantined right now.
Yeah.
So, we're because we're quarantined, it's been really cool. I've been staying connected with students, and we started this podcast, right, called Student Stories. I really wanted to Troy and I wanted to connect all of our students, keep our community plugged in. So I'm just sitting down with literally almost everybody over the next 30, maybe 60 days, and just want to talk about how you got introduced to jiu-jitsu, how it's impacted your life, made your life better. As you know, right, we exist to improve and protect the lives of others in the community. The world got turned upside down. Life sucks for a lot of people right now. And a lot of people, and jiu-jitsu has gotten them through a lot of things. So I would just love to hear your story, hear your perspective, and just kind of hang out with you, man, for 20 minutes and drink a coffee. You got a Red Bull over there.
I do have a Red Bull. That's probably not the best.
Let's do a toast, man. Let's do a toast. Ready? Do a ting ting on the screen. Ready?
Yeah.
Bam. Let's do this. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah. So I'm a chef. It's kind of a weird time to be in the hospitality industry right now, but still plugging away. Been training jiu-jitsu for Christmas time was about 2 years, so we're like 2.25.
Yeah.
Had tried a couple other martial arts and different things briefly beforehand, just when I was kind of really at a turning point in life and trying to figure out what the next thing was going to be. Tried boxing. My first night there, I got my nose broken, so I decided maybe that's no good, and
You got to You got to be a pretty chef.
Yeah. I mean, that's the money maker right there. So I don't want to be getting it too messed up.
Totally understand.
But,
well, getting punched sucks. Like, yeah. I thought I wanted to do that, and getting punched just no fun, man.
No, it sounds great. Like when you think about going and learning to box, and then you get your bell rung, you're like, maybe I'll look for something else.
So tell me about this turning point. I know a little bit about your story and your background, and we just talked about this the other day, but tell our audience a little bit more about you and that turning point and kind of what you've transitioned through over the last couple of years.
Yeah, sure. So, 2018, early to mid 2018, I would definitely describe that as rock bottom. Different people experience that at different points in their life. That was definitely mine. Lost my family, lost my home, lost a job, a really good job. Substance abuse had been an issue up to that point, but then it really started leading up to that point. About the year prior had really started to kind of spin out of control. And as a result, all those things that I mentioned just a minute ago took place. So, I had moved in with some family members trying to get things figured out, and a friend who I hadn't spent a whole lot of time with, but had been acquainted with for a while, had been training for a number of years, and reached out and said, I've seen guys in your spot before, and I know jiu-jitsu has helped out many people, and he knew that I'd kind of been looking at different martial arts and whatnot. And to be completely honest, I wasn't 100% sold on it. I was like, it's a martial art. It's a class I'm going to go to 2 nights a week. What kind of impact is this going to have? It's going to the gym. And so gave it a shot and was just blown away by the mental workout, the physical workout, just how I felt, not just an hour after I trained, but 2 days after I trained. It just opened up a door that I didn't even know existed at that point.
So tell me about that. I always ask students on these interviews about their first class, right? Because they've got their story leading up to this, their preconceived notions about jiu-jitsu. You're like, hey, what is this really going to do? You go into your first class. Most people come out of that first class with a new perspective and a different perspective and appreciate it for some reason. So kind of talk about that first class everybody vividly remembers it so far that I've met with. Talk about that, and then talk about how things changed after that for you, or how your perspective may have changed a little bit about life in general or jujitsu as well.
Sure. I was pretty nervous, going into it. I mean, everybody's seen UFC and things, so maybe a little bit of what jiu-jitsu and things like that look like, but until you're actually there and a part of it, you don't really know. But I remember I got there, an hour early and watched the kids class before me, and these kids were incredible. It was like, okay, that caught me off guard.
Genuinely scared of this 7-year-old girl here. I think she could take me.
Yeah. I'm looking at a 12-year-old kid throwing a choke on the instructor and having the instructor tapping out, and it really kind of was like, whoa, this is legit. So yeah, I went through the first night, and it was very humbling, to say the least, and just kind of went from there.
So you came back, right? So some people decide, hey, I'm never going to step on the mats, and we say this a lot. The first class, it's your most important class. It's when you start the journey. At our academy, we put a white belt on you. We make that a really big thing. That's the bigger celebration, I think, than the blue or the purple or the brown. And then at that point, you're coming back. So talk us through how continuing to train has made your life better, because you came to our academy after training somewhere else, and you were closer to your blue belt than your white belt at that point. And congrats on the blue belt again, man. By the way, you recently earned your blue belt, and we're proud that you're one of our first blue belts. But just talk about that transition and how life started turning, or what kind of new perspectives you had through jiu-jitsu.
Sure. So what it did really was it gave me a sense of purpose outside of just your norm, the day-to-day things you got to do to live. You got to, try to do good at work and try to all the things you're supposed to do. But it gave a different layer on top of that, it just goal setting for myself of just, okay, I just learned the trap and roll or the UPA. Now I'm going to next time try and use it when I'm live rolling or whatever. Just setting just small goals like that. And the more and more I did it, I realized how I could set goals and get other things in my life together. It really it made me realize that if I'm able to achieve these things on the mats, then maybe I'm going to be able to achieve these bigger demons that have been on my shoulders for years. And at that point, I just got to work. We're talking like late 2018 at this point, when it really started to click, and was really able to start getting things moving.
That's awesome, man. And you said a lot there. And I think the biggest thing that I heard is the demons. So how are those demons, man? Has jiu-jitsu allowed you to keep them at bay and keep them?
It has, and the biggest mistake that some people can make when making progress in fighting through those things is thinking that they're gone. They're never gone. They're just silenced. And you got to go to war every day to keep them silenced. The battle's never over. You don't ever get to finish that. So, as far as like sobriety and things like that with me, something I go to war with every day. And jiu-jitsu is a foundation for that, because they came into my life at the exact same time. Started training and started working on getting sober and things like that at the same time. And so to me, they're almost two in one.
Yeah. Now I know that there's other people that have openly shared it in our academy and other academies. Hey, I was dealing with this, whatever it is, addiction and all of these things, and how jiu-jitsu's turned them around. So if somebody's watching this today and they're at rock bottom, other than what you've told them already, what other kind of advice would you give them?
I would tell that person to find what motivates you. And that sounds super cliche, but something that's going to drive you. You've got something in you somewhere. There's a fire burning that you just got to figure out what it is. uh, and fuel that fire and be ready to go to war. And, you know, people who know where I was 2.5 years ago compared to where I am now, it's, you know, I'm told quite often just what a black and white difference it is. You know, it's 180 degrees. And I really do say that if I was able to make those changes, then anybody can, because, you know, it's kind of a mess. It really was. You know, I'll throw that out there and own it. And that was a big part of it, was taking ownership and responsibility for a lot of things.
Love that, man. Thank you for sharing that. You talked a lot about going to war and going to battle, and obviously we jump on the mats, and we've talked about this before, right? It's like you go slap fist, and you know, you go, and my first class was with a kid. You know, I was 26, this kid's like 15, and I got beat in that battle like over and over and over again. So, you know, we talk about that and that engagement, that intimate proximity that you're getting into with somebody. You actually shared with our kids class, and I thought it was so cool the way you shared it. You came and shared with adults class about a situation that transpired, and then I said, hey, come talk to the kids about that, right? Tell the listeners a little bit about that situation, because I really think it does relate to going to war, going to battle, how you approach that. How you de-escalate, redirect, and ultimately you did a really cool thing. So talk about that.
Sure. So yeah, I kind of won't identify, you know, who was involved or anything, but there's some people at my house who ended up there as a result of somebody ended up there, and they were heavily intoxicated, and so a relative got involved. We got one of his relatives involved to come get him where he could be safe, get under control. And so when that relative got there, this guy got extremely violent. And so at that point, I had to take control of the situation. But I was able to do so in a very constructive, calm manner. You know, I was able to throw on a choke and hold this guy there and get him under control, rather than, you know, had I started throwing strikes and getting crazy and very aggressive, and, you know, things snowball from that point, and then you don't know how that ends.
Broken nose in boxing, right?
Broken nose in boxing, yeah. And, you know, and then police officers show up. It's real hard to explain that you were an innocent party when you got busted open knuckles, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're able to say, you know, I held him there. I held him for his safety and my safety until you got here, and it's, you know, that story ends a whole lot better.
Yeah, that was a great story to hear, and I'm glad that you were able to you know, represent jiu-jitsu, represent the academy, and I also think it ties in, you know, with the battle you have every day. You could approach that a lot differently, and that could have ended a lot differently. And I thought that was a really cool thing, and I really loved how you shared that with the kiddos, right? Because we did it in a very PG way with them. You did it more PG-13, maybe R-rated with the adults, which is fine. But I mean, this guy was in your face and think about to swing at you, right, or swing at somebody else is what happened. Yeah. So
well, and he had swung. So
okay, so he did swing on you. Yeah.
Not on me, on the other person who was there to take him away from the situation. So.
Love it, man. Well, good job. Hey, we're gonna wrap things up, and I have 4 quick questions that I always end the show with. Is what would you tell a new student thinking about stepping onto the mats to try their first class?
I would say whatever you think is about to happen, just let that go, because this is not going to be any way that you have it planned out in your mind.
Absolutely. What would a new blue belt Nash tell white belt first day of class Nash, knowing what you know now and knowing where white belt Nash was? New Nash meets old Nash.
It's a good one. I would say that I would say enjoy being a brand new white belt, because it just gets a lot tougher from there. Wait till you get your brand new blue belt. Everybody decides to smash on you for a couple months.
I know. Yeah, you're the nail, right? You're the nail. You're still the nail at blue belt, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
Now, in terms of the sobriety and the demons and the struggles, what would new Nash, blue belt Nash tell white belt Nash?
I'd say that it is possible, regardless of how dark things may look at that moment. There is light on the other side, but it's not going to be just handed to you. You're going to have to work to get it. It's there.
Love it. Proud of you, man. Hey, number 3, what's your favorite submission? Other than the rear naked choke on the Saturday night in your apartment.
I was going to say the Saturday night choke has proved pretty effective. Now, I like the triangle just because it took me a little while to get it. It was weird to me for a long time. And once it clicked, I was able to execute it pretty well. So I like that.
Love it. Love it. And what are you doing now? Because we're quarantined, right? What are you doing right now since we can't physically meet at the academy to train together? How are you improving your jiu-jitsu at the moment? What are some unique things that you're doing that you could share with other students that are having the same lack of jiu-jitsu right now?
Right. Well, there's so many things that go into having good jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's as far as your nutrition and cardio and mental health and all those things. You might not be laying on a mat learning a new submission, but they all contribute to your success in jiu-jitsu. So me personally, I've been keeping the cardio up, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles a night, just getting out on the trail and running, staying away from the junk. I know that's hard to believe. I'm sitting here drinking a Red Bull right now, but if you're quarantined, it's really easy to just start snacking on what's there because there's nothing to occupy your mind. But just staying as physical as you can in your living room.
I love it. Well, hey, man, it's been an honor. It's an honor and a pleasure, first of all, to have met you, to know you, to have you at the academy. I know we've talked about having you jump into the kids program to start helping with the kiddos and get you on the mats with them soon. So let's sign out and toast out, man. I'm almost done with my coffee. Let's get that Red Bull.
Sounds good. All right.
All right. Bam. Right there. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is Nash Martin, and thanks, guys, for being here.